Hello, once again, I welcome you to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the concept of infrastructure monitoring. Monitoring has come to become an important concept or task that organizations are actively carrying on. After an infrastructure has been set up, it is important that such infrastructure are constantly being monitored. And there are several reasons why this infrastructure need to be monitored. And there are special tools that are commonly used in carrying out the monitoring tasks. Why would an organization monitor their infrastructure? There are several reasons why infrastructure need to be monitored. So in this video, I'm going to take us through three phases. One is the reason why infrastructure are monitored. And in the second one, we are going to discuss the theoretical understanding briefly of the common tool called Prometheus and Grafana, which are popular in infrastructure monitoring. And on the third phase, we are going to be carrying out a hands-on demonstration on how Prometheus and Grafana can be used to monitor EC2 servers. Now, why monitoring? Why do organizations carry out monitoring? Now, I have a couple of information that I've just put over here. Let me zoom in to make it a little bit bigger. Now, if you look at your screen, why do organizations monitor their infrastructure? One, as a monitoring is essential for ensuring health, reliability, and efficiency of servers. It could be system or it could be application. One of the very first reasons why organizations perform monitoring exercises is for proactive issue detection. If you are managing an infrastructure, let's say maybe your infrastructure is rendering a web service, you want to proactively know ahead of time if there are any issue that might negatively impact the delivery of this service. With the help of monitoring, you can easily detect if there's any potential or imminent threat to your service delivery. Also, we talk about performance optimization. By analyzing the metrics, through monitoring, you're going to see metrics from, let's say, your CPU, your storage, your memory. Now, due to those, as a result of those information that you have or that you have received from monitoring, you'll be able to measure the performance optimization of your infrastructure. It also helps in troubleshooting issues. If issue comes up, with the aid of your dashboard and metrics that you have that have been provided from monitoring tools, it will be very easy for you to get some insight into what problem your infrastructure is facing at a point in time. Also, we talk about scalability and planning. And I said that monitoring provides valuable insight into resource trends, helping you plan for future needs. Also, we talk about improved security. If you constantly and actively monitor your infrastructure, you can easily detect any anomaly or unauthorized access by intruder or any security breaches that have come into your organization, either imminent or actively happening. and you'll be able to respond accordingly to these security issues. And also for compliance, there are situations where resources by law or by regulation are required to be monitored consistently and actively. For example, financial services. If your infrastructure is providing financial services, it is important that this type of resources are constantly monitored for what? For breaches, for security breaches, for performance, and some other reasons why this might be required by regulation. So these are some of the reasons, but not limited to these that I've given, why organization will want to why organization will want to monitor their infrastructure. So in the next stage, we are going to be looking at tools called Prometheus and Grafana, and why are they very popular when it comes to monitoring. We are going to discuss them, and after that, we are going to go on to hands-on demonstration on how we can use this tool to carry out monitoring of EC2 instances or server, as we are going to see in the demonstration. One of the most popular monitoring tools used in the industry now is called Prometheus, when it is integrated with Grafana and with another one called Note Exporter. Now, why is this tool so popular, or why are these tools so popular? Why does Prometheus always, or most of the time, goes with Grafana? They are almost becoming a name when it comes to monitoring. Whenever Prometheus is mentioned, it is most likely that Grafana will be mentioned along with it. Why are these two tools being very popular in the world of monitoring? Prometheus and Grafana are widely used together for server monitoring because they complement each other perfectly. Now, what are the features of Prometheus, and what are those of Grafana that make them integrate together easily? One, Prometheus is a time series data collection. And what does that mean is that it collects data based on changes in time as being configured on the server. So Prometheus is designed to collect and store metrics as time series, so making it ideal for server performance over time. So you can set time, you can set certain criteria when data can be collected on your machine. Also, it uses a very powerful query language that is called Prometheus query language, that make it easier for you to easily write a language to query the metrics, or query the database to retrieve metrics. Excuse me. Then we have alerting. Prometheus also integrates with another tool called Alert Manager to send notification when predefined thresholds are met. For example, you can set your criteria such that you want to get a notification when your CPU use has gone beyond a certain percentage. You might say, okay, you want Alert Manager to send you an alert when 70% of your memory has been consumed. So this is what we mean by Alert Manager can send notification based on predefined threshold. We also talk about scalability. It can monitor thousands of servers and applications in distributed system. Why? When it comes to Grafana, what does all the tasks that have been carried out by Prometheus will be displayed by Grafana. So Grafana is more or less a visualization tool. It doesn't do more than that. What it does is it collects those metrics that has been processed by Prometheus and display them in a graphical format for easy read, for easy understanding. Now, Grafana provides a rich, customizable dashboard to visualize the metric collected by Prometheus, just like I've explained. And also, it is a real-time. It does real-time monitoring. It enables real-time tracking of server performance with dynamic dashboard, as we are going to see in the hands-on. It also has a alerting tool or alerting capability. So Grafana can also send alert based on visualization data or visualized data, complementing Prometheus and alert capabilities. Also, it integrates easily with so many data sources. We have a lot of data sources other than Prometheus. We have Influx, we have Elasticsearch. All these can be integrated easily with Grafana. So that's why it is easier, or it is popular for infrastructure engineer or DevOps engineer to easily integrate Grafana with Prometheus to produce visualization or monitoring. Now, if you see in my previous slide, I saw something called Node Exporter. Now, this is also another very important tool which has the capability of what we call data exposures, metric exposures. So, for example, now, as we are going to see in our hands-on, Node Exporter will expose the metric interface or metric surfaces so that Prometheus will be able to extract or scrap those metrics. So when those metrics are being retrieved by Prometheus, then it's going to be processed and sent to Grafana for visual or graphical display. So these tools work together in integration to provide a very beautiful dashboard where we can see the metrics in real life and in the dynamic graphics. Now, in our project, what are we going to be doing? What are we going to be doing? I have a very simple visualization here. So this is how our setup will look like. So we're going to have some EC2 instances that on it we are going to install Node Exporter. These EC2 instances are servers. Okay, maybe a server that's been provisioned to render web service or to render an e-commerce service or a web application. So we are going to install Node Exporter on the servers. We're going to call them target servers. And this Node Exporter will expose the metrics such as CPU, storage, your RAM, your memory, and all that. This is what the Node Exporter will be doing. And when the Node Exporter exposes these metrics, then Prometheus will now come into the machine to fetch those data. So when Prometheus fetch those data or those metrics, then it will now send it to Grafana, and Grafana will now display it, into visuals. Now we have Docker here. We are going to be using Docker to run Docker container of this tool for easy management. We are not going to be doing the manual installation. We are going to be using container to run this tool. So that means we are going to be running a Prometheus container, Grafana containers, and Node Exporter containers. So after that, then we are going to see how the dashboard can be manipulated or configured to display metrics for that we can easily read. Now, let us look at something more. Let's quickly talk about what is our project like. So we are going to have the tools. What are the tools that we are going to be using? What are the tools? One, we are going to need our EC2 servers. Okay, we're going to be needing our EC2 servers, and out of these two EC2 servers, we are going to have the one that will be taking care of the monitoring Okay, and we are going to be having the servers that are going to be monitored, and we call this one the target servers. So inside, also we are going to need another tool called Prometheus. We are going to need another tool called Grafana, and we are going to need another tool called Node Exporter. Okay, we are going to need a tool called Node Exporter. Now, inside on the monitoring tool, which will be taking care of the monitoring process, we are going to install Prometheus. We are going to install Grafana on the both of them, and we are going to install on the target server. We are going to install Node Exporter, because Node Exporter is needed to what? To scrap or to expose the metrics of these target servers. Why our Prometheus will now retrieve those or scrap those metrics, and those metrics will now be what? Display on Grafana. So after that, we needed some ports to be open. So we need some ports to be what? To be open on our server for communication. So for Prometheus, we're going to be opening port 1990, I think, TCP 1990. Then for Grafana, we are going to be opening port 3000. And for Node Exporter, we are going to be opening port 9100. So we're going to open these three ports and of course we are going to allow our regular port 22, which is SSH, port 22 for SSH. And we are going to also open port 80 for HTTP. And we don't really need port 443, but if you like, and open it, we're going to open port 443 for HTTPS. So we are going to be doing all this, and then we are going to see how we will use Grafana, Prometheus, along with Node Exporter to show metrics. Now I have set up this process. I have a repository here that I've configured that contains a README file where I have put the details of how the process, the step-by-step approach of the process. And I have in the repository two different folders. One is the manual configuration of this process, and if you go through it, it's going to show you how we have manually configured each of the tools that are needed. While in the second folder, I have the automated process where we use Ansible to run the installation. Now, before I forget, don't forget I mentioned that we are going to be using containers to run. We are going to be using container to run these tools. So we are going to be running Prometheus container, Grafana container, and Node Exporter container. So for us to run container, we need what? We need Docker. So since we're going to be running container on all the target and the monitoring server, so we need to run Docker on all. We need to install Docker on all the servers. Please bear that in mind. So I have the repo. So we are just going to copy the repo, and we are going to start the process. So if you are interested, I'm going to put the repo in the comment section. Please go through it, go through the README file, and follow the step-by-step approach to enable you carry out this process. So now we're going to jump onto the hands-on to see how we can set up the server. So we're going to be setting up 3 servers. One of them is the monitoring, and 2 of them are the target servers. So let's first go on our AWS console. So just like what I have here already, this is my previous one. So we are going to log into our AWS console. I'm going to clear the screen. And I forgot to copy the IP address of the other one that failed. But let us run the command again. Let's run this command again. I'll ping again, and I'll type yes. This time you can see that the 2 are now discoverable. Okay, you can see it's able to connect to the first one. So I'm going to click enter, and it's asking me. I will say yes. I click enter. You can see the second one is completed. He was able to get that, and so Ansible fact is able to contact 13.218.169. It's able to contact 13.271. And let us see. I'm going to clear the screen again, and I will run the command once more. Okay, you can see now that all the 3 servers, 252, 209, and 69, they are all pingable. That is, Ansible is able to contact them, meaning that it cannot perform actions on these servers. So if you go back to your AWS, just take note of the last digit, 252, 209, 69. If you go to your EC2 machine and you go to the instances, and we go to running instances, those ones that are running, and I move this one to the IP address, you will see 252, 209, 69. These are all the servers. Now, the next thing now that we have confirmed that our Ansible can contact the machine. The next thing we are going to do, let's go back to our README file and follow up. The next thing we are going to do now is to create and run the Ansible playbook. So this is the name of our Ansible playbook. Setup monitoring.yaml. I will copy it. I will go and create the file. So I'll come back to my Ansible. And how do I create the file? Instead of creating the file and editing it, I'm going to use the edit command to create and open the file at the same time. So I'm going to say vi, and I'm going to paste this file, and I'm going to create enter. You can see now that it has created and opened the file at the same time. So I'm going to go and copy the Ansible playbook, and before I do that, I will explain after copying it. So I will copy the Ansible playbook. I will now paste it. So this Ansible playbook. Now let's go through this. Okay, I'm going to go onto the README file to explain it. So now that we have pasted it, now before we move ahead, we need to change certain things here. So if you go up under the targets, I need to change the IP address of the targets. Okay, so I'm going to press enter to insert, and I will go and copy the IP address from here. Okay, the first IP address of the target folder, don't forget this is our target folder, the one below, target 1 and target 2. I will come here and copy for first target, and I will go to my Ansible, my terminal, and I will replace it. Okay, this is my cursor. I'm moving my cursor using the upper arrow. Okay, and I will move toward the target, and I will remove it. That is my target 1, and I will paste the IP address. Then I will go and copy the IP address of target 2. Don't forget the one above with 69 is what? Is our monitoring. It's our monitoring, okay? And here we are dealing with what? Targets. You can see targets. So I'm going to come here too. I will remove IP and paste the one. So we have changed it. Now, also there's one more settings. If you go straight down to the bottom of the configuration, this one is giving you security admin password. This is the password of our Grafana. You can see it's running Grafana here. So we need to put the password that we need here. So I'm going to change this password to one of my funny passwords. So I put this password there. Click on me 1, 2, 3 exclamation. So that is the password. Okay. Now I'm going to escape and I'm going to save it, :W exclamation. I'll click enter. Now, before we run this, let me quickly explain to you what this playbook is doing. Okay, I'm going to zoom in for you to see it. Now, this is the playbook. What is the first thing it's going to do? We are setting up Prometheus, Grafana, and Node Exporter on EC2 instances. All the instances are confirmed all. Whenever you see host all, it means that that action will be performed on all the instances that are present in the IN file. Remember, in the IN file, this is our IN file. Let me open it. In our IN file, we have two sections. We have the monitoring and the target. Don't forget, in our own, we have changed these IP addresses. So when you see all, it means that the Ansible action will be performed on all the servers that are present. Okay, so that is the first thing. Sorry, I was explaining it. So now the next thing, so what is it going to do? It's going to update the system package. Okay, and after that, it's going to install the prerequisite, which is Docker. Don't forget, I told you that Docker will now be installed on all the machine. After Docker is installed, then this is also the process of installing Docker. It's going to have the GPG key. It's going to install Docker. It's going to start Docker. It's going to enable Docker. Now it's going to what? Now the next stage now is going to run Node Exporter, and you can see name Node Exporter. Okay, and it's going to run it as a Docker container. Okay, on which host? Look at it. Host monitoring. Here means that monitoring will only be done. I want you to get this thing very clearly. This action, when you see host all, it means the action will be carried out on all the server. Okay, but when you see host with a name, it will only affect that name. So if you come here now, you see host monitoring. It means this action called set up Prometheus and Grafana server will only be done on monitoring server. And don't forget, I show you that in my address here. I told you that monitoring on the monitoring server, we are going to be installing Prometheus and Grafana. While on the target server, we are going to be installing Node Explorer. So here on monitoring, we are going to be installing this, and these are all the processes. Also, Prometheus, run Prometheus container, then it's going to run Grafana in terms of a container, and this is the password that we have just changed that we're going to use to run Grafana. So now, after that, we are going to save it, and we are going to go ahead and run the command to run Ansible playbook, and we are going to watch Ansible install all this configuration on the server. So I go back to my terminal, and I will run this command, and the command is Ansible playbook -I inventory and the files. It's telling us that Ansible should go into the playbook and look for all the configuration inside the setup.monitoring and apply it to all the servers that are present in the inventory.in file. So I'm going to click enter. It's going to take a couple of minutes, and we are going to watch Ansible do the magic. And if we see any error, we'll try to fix it. So I will hit enter. And you can see it has started. It's playing. It's able to contact the 3 server. So it's going to update the packages. So that is going to run update, and it should go into the now. What update is it going to do? It's going to be doing sudo apt update packages. You see, update catch packages, which is yes, and inside the distribution that is being given to us, Ubuntu. So that is what it's going to be doing. So that is the process that we are now. So it's still running the updates. Let us see it. I would have loved to pause the video and come back, but I want you to see it working. Okay, it has done the update on the first one. Let us hope it will succeed on the other one. It's still running the update. Okay, it's able to do the second one. So it's able to update one of the targets, and it's able to update uh, the monetary server. Okay, correct. Now it's installing the prerequisite Docker. It's installed Docker now. It's adding GPG. You can see. Imagine if you want to go into each of these server. Just imagine you have about 20 servers that you want to install. Of course, it does not make any sense to go into this and install them one after the other. So that is the power and the beauty of Ansible. So now it's installing. It's still installing Docker. What it has done, okay, it has installed Docker. It's starting Docker. Okay, it's doing Ubuntu server now. Okay, it's adding user group. It has run node exporter. Okay, now look at it under Prometheus and Grafana. You can see only one server, which is the 6.9. If you see the 6.9 server, that is the monetary server. You can see it is only one that's affected. And when it's creating Grafana, it's only doing it for that because that is the only server that needed to have Prometheus and Grafana on it. So it's doing that now. So Ansible is so intelligent to work in that direction that is being given to it. Okay, now our process is completed. You can see 9 changes has been made on the server 209 and 252, which are the target servers. We have 9 installations on 9 processes. While on the Prometheus monitoring server, 15 changes were made. There's no failure, so that's a good one for us. So now we have now to go and assess our servers. So I'll minimize this. So I'll go back to my monitor. So on the monitoring server, we are going to take the IP address of the monitoring server, which is 69. We are going to open another terminal, and we are going to do HTTP :// IP. For Prometheus, it is 1990, I think 1990. You can click enter, and boom, we have our Prometheus. So we are going to copy the same thing for Grafana because both of them are installed on the same server. So I'm going to have HTTP :// I'll put the IP, and that will be 3000 for Grafana. I'll click enter, and now we have our Grafana coming up. And don't forget, we change the IP, we change the password. So we're going to put the password. The username is admin, and the password is what we change it to. 1, 2, 3 exclamation. We click enter, and good. We have able to log into our Grafana. Now, Node Exporter does not actually use or the graphical interface or graphical user interface for Node Exporter does not really matter here. However, let us see if our Node Exporter is actually working. So Node Exporter is installed on both of the servers or the targets. So let's copy one of the targets, and let's go into. You can actually connect directly into it, but you don't have to. Let's go here and do HTTP :// the IP address the port for Node Exporter is 9100, and we'll say /metrics because it is used to extract metrics. If it gives us a result, that means it's working. So if you enter, you can see it. These are all the metrics. You can see how much it is. These are all the metrics that Node Exporter will be scrapping for Prometheus to take. So our Node Exporter is working, Prometheus is working, Grafana is working. So now let us set it up to see what we have in our dashboard. Now, if you come to Prometheus, what can we see there? Let's click on status. We will click on status and click on target. You can see these are your targets. You can see the Node Exporter. Don't forget we install 2 Node Exporter, one on each servers, one of the targets. You can see it says 2 of them are up, but Node Exporter on the monitoring. There's no Node Exporter on monitoring, so that is why it is down. It is 0. There's no Node Exporter on monitoring. Now this is the endpoint of our metrics. Now this is the endpoint of one of the server. And this is Prometheus, is up. And look at if you look at here, this is the instance on this port. So this is how much information you can get, and it shows when you see all those green ones up state, it means they are up and running. So now let's go back. Let's now go to our Grafana. So the first thing we want to do is, like I said, Grafana is just a dashboard that shows the information that is being retrieved by Prometheus. So what we need to do first is to tell Grafana where are you going to get the information that you needed, and that one is called data source. So what is the data source for your information? So you come onto this left hand side pane, you click on connection. Under connection, you look for data source, and you click on add data source, and you select Prometheus. So the name, you are going to keep it as Prometheus. We are going to scroll down, and inside the URL, we are going to put the URL of Prometheus. So this is our Prometheus here. We are going to copy the URL up to the 1990 port. We'll copy it. We'll go to our Grafana and paste it. So we'll paste this, and we'll scroll down. We don't really need any authentication in this case. Just scroll down, and we are going to test the connection. Click on save and test. And you can see it was successful. The connection was successful. It means that Grafana has successfully added Prometheus as the source of its data that it's going to display. So now we're going to move ahead now. The next thing to do is to create a dashboard. So you're going to go on dashboard. You're going to go on create dashboard. If you like, you can add visualization, but you can just come down here and click import. Now you can have visualization if you know how to query your data source. I can suggest my data source, and I can come here and add data source. What do I want to add? Under metrics, what are the metrics do I want to mention? I can click here and select. There are thousands of metrics here. Let me search for the one that has memory. Let me type memory, and let me have CPU. Okay, this one contains CPU. I want to look at my node memory CPU. Okay, I can select this, and I can select the label. I want it to be instance. And what is the job? Look at, these are the two instances that we have. Don't forget, we have instances, one ending 209, one ending 205. Which one do I want to measure? Let me pick the one that says 209, and you can see it. I can go down, and I can say add query. Okay, if I add query, and I can run the query, and you can see it's going to give me the data of the that I just selected. Okay, you can create a lot of that, a lot of those data. And if you are the one that know how to put expression, okay, you can put expression to generate this dashboard. But Prometheus has made it very easy for us. Grafana, there are some inbuilt dashboard that has been built to display certain information, and that's what I'm going to be using here. So I'm going to go back to dashboard. I'm going to click on save dashboard. I'll just call it my dashboard. My dashboard. To save it. Okay. Then I'm going to come here and generate new dashboard now. I'll come here and create new dashboard, and I'm going to import. Instead of adding visualization, I'll go to import, and I'll click on save. Let me call this one server monitor. I'll call this server monitor, and I will save it, and I will click on import. Now we have so many ways to import. We can either import by generating a JSON file and upload it, or we can also import using ID. Okay, that's what I'm going to be using now. Now there's a dashboard called Full Node Exporter ID. Sorry, Full Node Exporter Dashboard, and it has an ID of 1860. That is the ID. You can go to Grafana documentation to get all this information, or you can Google it. So I will put that ID there. We have different number for different dashboard, and those dashboard are specific based on the metrics that they are measuring, that they are monitoring. But in this case, this is a full one. All the metrics are available there, and I'm going to click on load. So I'll click on load, and I'll leave the name as node exporter full. I will leave it as a dashboard. Okay. And I will come here. I want to select the data source. Where do I want to get the source? I want to get it from Prometheus. And I will click import. And you can see the beautiful data board. Let me expand, let me make it a little bit. You can see this is the beautiful dashboard that we have. So you can see this is telling us CPU, how busy the CPU is. It's only using about 90% of it. You have RAM, about 12.8%. And if you look at the top here on the host, this is for what? This is for my server 209. That is, if you go back to my target, which server has 209? That is the second, because that is target 2. So if I want to check target 1, I will click on this drop down and I'll pick this. So you can see that it has changed. This one has changed to 11.7. This one has changed to 13.2. If you look at the top hand here, in front of refresh, this shows you how frequently this Grafana will go and fetch the information. This one is every 1 minute. I can click and change it to, I can see every 5 seconds. If you watch it, if I change it to 5 seconds, just watch. In another 5 seconds, this refresh will change. You can see it, it will refresh. Just watch again. Just watch for another few seconds. You can see it has refreshed. Just count it. If you refresh, and I'll count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seconds. It will refresh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see it. You can see it's refreshing every 5 seconds because I asked it to refresh every 5 seconds. So whatever time you set here, you can set it as much as you want. You can set every 1 day. So it will be going to refresh and pull information from Prometheus and display them here. So this is also the targets, and we have set it as default. So these are how much information you can have. And if you scroll down, you can see all the metrics. You can have metrics on your CPU. You can see it. You can scroll down. You can have metrics on memory. If you click on the drop down, it will show you. You can have millions of metrics, as the case may be. And so this is the power of Prometheus integrated with Grafana for the purpose of monitoring. So what we have learned here is that we have used Ansible to do our configuration management, to install Docker on the target server. We have also used Ansible to install Prometheus and Grafana on the monitoring server, and we have used Ansible to install node exporter on the target server. And after that, we went ahead to use Ansible playbook to run the process, and we went into checking if these servers for Prometheus, Grafana, and node exporter are available on our browser, and we went ahead to set up our dashboard. So this is how you can monitor your infrastructure, in this case, your server, using Prometheus and Grafana. Please, if you have learned something in this video, I would like you to subscribe to my video so that anytime I upload a new video, you will get notification, and it will also help me to reach out to other people who are interested in learning one thing or two, and this will also motivate me in doing many other videos. I look forward to your support, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video. Before I go, I'm going to include the link to the GitHub repository that contains the configurations, and also the README file for the step-by-step approach for both the manual configuration and also the Ansible for configuration. I will implore you to first go through the manual configuration so that you can appreciate the power of Ansible. Okay? If you have any question, drop it in the comment below. I will try my best to answer as quick as possible. I will see you in the next video. Peace.